Hello and welcome to my 7th video. It's been a rough week for me. I mentioned in my last video I had strep throat and was coming down with something else. Well, that something else absolutely rocked me. I was in Alaska alone with a fever and chills, congested and coughing. I was miserable. I even called out sick on Thursday after I posted my last video. I had gotten much worse overnight. I was not having a good time. However, I did get some good insight. I went to Walgreens to get some medicine to try and relieve my misery. However, what I did notice while I was at the store was that NyQuil was not the medicine I was looking for. I found myself staring at the racks of cookies, chips, and other snacks trying to figure out what I wanted to get to snack on because I wasn't feeling well and wasn't very hungry. I hadn't even bothered to find the medicine yet. Being sick is all it took to get me to drop my guard and revert right back to my old pattern of seeking food for comfort. The craving and the drive to eat was so strong. I knew that not just any food would do, it had to be junk food. Carrots and celery sticks were not going to bring that sweet, sweet relief I was looking for. No, a job like that calls for Doritos and Oreos. I stood there staring at those goodies, determining if I wanted double stuffed or if I preferred to have it mixed with ice cream. Fortunately, in that moment, as I was reaching for the package, I was corrected and ultimately did not stumble. I had come as close to the edge as I could possibly go. I think if I had actually grasped the bag before I was stopped, I would be making a very different confession right now. That brought me back to 1 Corinthians 10:13, a verse I have used before. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. God's faithfulness to me allowed me to be faithful to Him in what I am guessing has to be my weakest moment since I started this journey. I also discovered while I was on this trip that the only reason I really enjoy going on these work trips is because of the eating. Take the food away, and it was just work. Now, about all that faithfulness I was just spouting about. Last week I said I was going to commit to saying grace before I eat, to not only thank the Lord, but to ask Him to help me eat in a godly way. That was a really good idea. It would have been an even better idea if I had actually done it. I can say I prayed before my meal this past week, maybe twice. I also had 2 or 3 times where I realized I'd forgotten to pray during my meal. I would say there were another 2 or 3 times where I remembered immediately following the meal. So I would not call my performance a wild success. It's funny what is hard and what is easy when it comes to changing behavior. Eating only when I am hungry was a relatively easy change to make. Slowing down and spending 30 seconds talking to God before I eat can't be done. It's impossible. Honestly, who has time for that? I am busy and have things to do. Now don't get me wrong. I want to say grace before I eat. I just forget. What do you call this type of behavior? Apparently, I'm not the first person with this type of issue. Paul tells us in Romans chapter 7, verse 15, I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do. Now, if we take a look at the book of James, say chapter 4, verse 17, he seems to know exactly what's up. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. Oddly, back in the book of Romans, Paul seems to agree with James in what is coincidentally also verse 17. As it is no longer I, myself, who do it, but it is the sin living within me. It is clear my failure is nothing more than sin, so my struggle with sin continues. Continue to pray for me and my strength. God showed me a lot of grace this past week. He helped keep me from destroying myself while I was alone and accountable only to myself and Him. 2 Thessalonians 3:3 says, The Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen and protect you from the evil one. I owe Christ all the credit for the success I've had so far. It's amazing the changes I am seeing in my life from just one small change.